Global Peace Broadcasting Network presents a legacy of faith. Dr. David YONGGI Cho, from Attentive 5 to a Global Christian Movement. I'm Angel. Welcome to Global Peace Broadcasting Network. Today, we travel to South Korea to remember the extraordinary life of one of the most influential Pentecostal pastors in modern Christian history, Dr. David YONGGI Cho. His story began in poverty, hardship, and illness. But through faith, prayer, perseverance, and an extraordinary vision for ministry, he would eventually lead one of the world's largest Christian congregations. This is the story of David YONGGI Cho. From humble beginnings, David YONGGI Cho was born on the 14th of February 1936 in what is now Ulsan, South Korea. He was the eldest of 9 children. His family experienced financial hardship after his father's sock and glove business failed. Unable to afford traditional higher education, Cho attended a technical high school where he learned practical skills, but an unexpected opportunity opened another door. Cho developed friendships with American soldiers stationed near his school and learned English from them. He became proficient enough to work as an interpreter for the American military commander and his school principal. Yet his greatest transformation was still ahead. A life-changing encounter. Cho was raised in a Buddhist environment. At the age of 17, however, he became seriously ill with tuberculosis. During this difficult period, a Christian girl introduced him to Christianity. Cho began reading the Bible and eventually converted to Christianity. He later testified that he experienced a miraculous healing from tuberculosis. For Cho, this became more than a recovery from illness. He believed he had discovered his calling. He believed God was calling him into ministry. The call to ministry. Cho eventually received a scholarship to study theology at the Full Gospel Bible College in Seoul. There he met Choi Ya-shil, who would become his mother-in-law and one of his closest ministry partners. Cho graduated in March 1958. His ministry journey was beginning, but nobody could have predicted what would eventually emerge from the small beginnings. 5 people in a tent. In the late 1950s, Cho began ministering in a humble tent. The congregation initially consisted of only 5 people, including Choi Ya-shil and her children. There were no magnificent buildings, no enormous auditorium, no worldwide television network, just a small gathering, a preacher, and a determination to serve God. But Cho believed that something much greater could grow from those humble beginnings, and it did. The Yoido Full Gospel Church. The ministry eventually developed into what became known as Yoido Full Gospel Church, affiliated with the Assemblies of God. Over the following decades, the congregation experienced extraordinary growth. By the early 21st century, it was widely recognized as one of the world's largest individual Christian congregations, with membership figures reaching hundreds of thousands. At its peak, figures associated with the church reported membership of around 830,000. The journey from 5 people in a tent to hundreds of thousands became one of the most remarkable stories of church growth in modern Christianity. The power of prayer. One of the defining characteristics of Cho's ministry was his emphasis on prayer. He became known for spending several hours each day in prayer. As he grew older and physical problems made prolonged kneeling difficult, he adjusted his prayer routine. His message to believers was consistent. Prayer was not an accessory to ministry. Prayer was central to ministry. For Cho, the growth of the church was inseparable from dependence upon God. The cell group revolution. Perhaps one of Cho's most influential contributions to Christian ministry was his emphasis on cell groups. Rather than depending entirely on one pastor preaching to a large congregation, Cho encouraged believers to meet in smaller groups within their communities. People could pray together, study the Bible together, support one another, evangelize together, and care for people who might never initially enter a large church. Cho believed this structure was one of the keys to sustaining rapid church growth. His philosophy became an important influence on churches and pastors around the world. Church Growth International. In 1976, Cho founded Church Growth International. Its purpose was to teach pastors and Christian leaders principles of evangelism, leadership, discipleship, and church growth. His influence, therefore, extended beyond South Korea. Pastors from many nations traveled to learn from his ministry model. The question was no longer simply, how can we build a large church? It became, how can we equip ordinary believers to participate in the work of ministry? Faith with social responsibility. Cho's ministry was not limited to preaching. In 1986, he helped establish Elam Welfare Town, a social welfare facility designed to serve vulnerable people, including elderly people, young people, homeless people, and unemployed people. The project also sought to provide training and employment opportunities. It reflected an important principle. Faith must also be expressed through service, media, and public influence. In 1988, Cho founded the newspaper company, Kookman Ilbo. He understood that communication could influence society beyond the walls of a church. Through preaching, books, broadcasting, conferences, newspapers, and leadership training, his influence reached far beyond South Korea. A global Christian leader, Dr. Cho also served internationally. He became chairman of the World Assemblies of God Fellowship from 1992 to 2000. He later served in Christian leadership organizations in South Korea and became involved with the Good People charity organization. His ministry had become international. A young man who once struggled with poverty and tuberculosis had become one of the best-known Pentecostal Christian leaders in the world. The author, Dr. Cho, also left an extensive literary legacy. Among his best-known books are The Fourth Dimension, Successful Home Cell Groups, and The Holy Spirit, My Senior Partner. His writings focused heavily on faith, prayer, the Holy Spirit, leadership, and practical Christian living. These books influenced pastors and Christians far beyond Korea. The Korean Christian story, Cho's ministry also became part of the remarkable story of Christianity's growth in South Korea. Following the devastation and poverty surrounding the Korean War, South Korea underwent dramatic economic and social transformation. Christian churches became significant centers of community, education, welfare, and spiritual life. Cho's ministry emerged during this period of extraordinary change. His story therefore became intertwined with the story of modern Korean Pentecostal Christianity. HIS Final years, Dr. David YONGGI Cho died on the 14th of September 2021. At the age of 85, his passing marked the end of a remarkable ministry journey spanning more than 6 decades. But his influence did not end with his death. His teachings, books, ministry structures, churches, trained leaders, and charitable initiatives continue to influence Christians around the world. What can we learn from David YONGGI Cho? His story leaves several powerful lessons. Pray. He demonstrated an extraordinary commitment to prayer. Empower people. He showed that ordinary believers can become powerful participants in ministry. Start small. 5 people in a tent can become the beginning of something much larger. Serve people. Christian ministry can extend beyond the pulpit into practical care for vulnerable communities. Think globally. A local ministry can develop a worldwide influence. Train leaders. One of the greatest ways to multiply a ministry is to equip others. Final reflection. Perhaps the most striking image of David YONGGI Cho's life is not the enormous church building, it is the tent. 5 people, a young preacher, a small beginning, and a vision that grew far beyond what anyone could have imagined. His story reminds us that great movements can begin in ordinary places, but it also reminds us that growth carries responsibility. The true measure of a ministry is not simply how many people attend, but how many lives are transformed, how many people are served, and how many others are equipped to make a difference. From a humble tent in South Korea to a ministry known around the world, David YONGGI Cho left a significant mark on modern Pentecostal Christianity. May his story inspire a new generation to pray deeply, serve faithfully, equip others, and never despise small beginnings. This has been a GPBN Christian Legacy documentary, Global Peace Broadcasting Network, informing minds, inspiring hope, connecting our world through peace. Good night.